Time is 11:40. You're tuned into the mid-morning talk with me, Fazila Isaac, on Salam Media. Don't forget, engage with us on our social media platforms. WhatsApp 061 766 0355. Facebook, www.facebook.com/Salam Media. And stream our shows as well, www.salammedia.com. Now, 3rd of November to 3rd of December is declared National Disability Awareness Month. With us today, we have Downey, who's the founder of Disability Info South Africa, who's going to give us some guidance and some information on this particular awareness. Welcome to the show, Alan.
Thank you. Thanks very much for having me.
Only a pleasure. So let's start with you. Tell us a bit about yourself.
I'm quadriplegic through a diving accident in 1994 when I was 21 years old. Later, so I'm in a wheelchair. And about 20 years later, a couple of years later, got involved in website design. And about 20 years later, I realized that there was still an urgent need for access to information and access to the environment. There were still a lot of places that were inaccessible, and I began researching and developing a website originally to mainly supply easy access to information. But as time went on, I realized that we need to provide access to environments as well. There was still, despite all the legislation in place, there was still a desperate need to enforce that legislation and to create more awareness on why we need accessible environments. It's not only access to information that we need to be able to access our workplace. We need to be able to access buildings and so on. So that's basically what we've been doing for the last over 7 years, since 2015, when I originally started researching and developing the website.
And tell me, what are some of the challenges that you've obviously encountered when it comes to people with different types of disabilities that you feel awareness should be brought to?
Number one, I think that if you have a disability, it doesn't mean that you don't work, or you. I think the word disabled is not a great word, because it indicates that maybe you don't work. The word disabled. So people with disabilities want to work, they want to earn a living, they want to take part in society, and unfortunately, disability is described as somebody with an impairment that is actually restricted by society from taking part, and that is what causes a disability. So if I've got a wheelchair, I'm able to move around despite the fact that I've got a broken neck and I can't move my legs. But building a shopping center with either an inaccessible ramp or stairs prevents me from going to visit that shopping center in the same place as a workplace with an inaccessible environment would prevent me from being able to get a job and to earn a living, which is a basic human right at the end of the day.
So you yourself, in your personal experience, how do you manage to overcome and empower yourself to look beyond the disability?
Well, I think you got to focus on what you can do rather than what you can't. And again, we got to fight for your rights, because if I find a place that's inaccessible, I will approach them to become accessible. And it doesn't just affect me, it affects my family. If I want to go to a restaurant, or they want to go to a restaurant and it's inaccessible, the only option is to go to another restaurant, or to leave me at home and go to that restaurant. And and that sometimes happens to people, where a group of friends might want to go out, but the venue that they want to go to is inaccessible. So they end up uh, not including their friend that's in a wheelchair or whatever the disability may be. If a person is blind and has a service dog, and some place doesn't want to allow the service dog into the venue, then that person is basically, they were able to move around. Now they become disabled because their assistive device has been refused entry.
Mm. So I love the fact that you put it in that way, that your disability is you not being able to do something or not having the resources to be able to, until and unless you get those specific resources, like you said, having facilities that would enable you to get in, then you're not getting it is obviously now disabling you. So what are some of the um, rights of people with disabilities? Because look, there is a responsibility on communities to obviously cater, and make sure it's accessible. But what are the rights of people with disabilities in the country?
Well, we've got the same basic rights as everybody else. We've got a right to earn a living. We've got a right to education. We've got and I mean, if you just take those two two rights there, basic rights, there's still many schools that are inaccessible, which means that inclusive education becomes very difficult. I'll just give you an example. I just saw a message. I've got a Facebook page and a Facebook group page, and every now and then people will post learnerships on there, but they've got to come through me first. So somebody tried to post a learnership where they were looking for 40 people with disabilities, but then they indicated that the person can't be in a wheelchair, they can't be blind, and they can't be deaf. Now, how is that inclusive? You've been paid to do a learnership for persons with disabilities, but you're not accessible, and you don't have the equipment to be inclusive of persons who are deaf and persons who are blind. As far as I'm concerned, that's discrimination.
100%. That kind of is senseless to me. I don't understand it. Because disability, obviously, there's different types of disabilities, right? And these are some of the key types of disabilities that are out there. So why would you come with a learnership that's not going to be inclusive of this? Speaking of the types of disabilities, can you enlighten us on this?
Yes. So South Africa's basically um, divided into five five disability groups, which is persons with physical impairments, um, persons with what they call sensory impairments, which is the hearing or the visual, and then you got um, the psychosocial and psychological and the neurological. So we try to make it a little bit easier on our information service, and and um, and and we try to divide it into the four impairments, which is mobility or physical impairments, visual impairments, hearing impairments, or those who are deaf, and then the intellectual impairments. Because we, un, although it's not according to the South African view of persons with impairments, it becomes a little bit easier to find what you're looking for. So if you, for example, visited our website, you will see we've divided into four impairment groups to make it a bit easier for the man in the street or the woman in the street to be able to understand exactly what they're looking for. Then we can assist them easier through the information service and the contact center.
All right. Alan, we're just going to take a quick short ad break. When we come back, I'd like for us to speak on the Awareness Month and what activities can people engage in this time. Stay tuned.
Okay, thanks.
Online schooling? Why not? Kurtuba Online Academy is the leading global online Islamic school from grade R to matric, offering South African caps and international syllabus. And it doesn't stop there. We also offer online madrasa for every grade. For more information, visit www.kurtubaonline.co.za. Kurtuba Online Academy, the leading global online Islamic school.
Decades of war, devastating drought, and economic collapse have pushed the Afghan people to the edge of survival. 24 million need life-saving aid, and 5 million children are knocking on famine's door. The world cannot just watch as this terrible crisis unfolds. With your support, the Al-Imdad Foundation is delivering emergency relief to the Afghan people. Donate online at alimdad.com or call 0861 786 243 for more information.
With so many investment options today, it's only natural that you might feel a little confused which route to take. Should I buy shares or should I invest in gold bullion? Randery Jewelers now brings you the Zahab coin, an alternative to the Kruger Rand. The Zahab coin, a solid wealth protector in its purest form of 24-karat gold, is the safest way to protect your wealth. So don't just sit there and watch your paper money depreciate. Change to gold. Call Randery Jewelers now at 031 202 4701 or visit www.rjcoin.co.za, situated at 151 Essenwood Road, Musgrave, Durban. Randery Jewelers, the family name you can trust.
Over 33 million people have been affected by the devastating floods in Pakistan. Homes have been destroyed, crops have been swept away, and roads have been damaged. Families are mourning their loved ones while trying to survive these horrific conditions. Penny Appeal is on the ground now, delivering food, shelter, medical supplies, and water to those in need. You can help save a life by donating today. Visit our website www.pennyappeal.org.za or call 031 1100 573. Penny Appeal South Africa. Small change, big difference.
Rejuvenating media day by day. This is Salam Media.
Time is 11:53. You're tuned into the mid-morning talk with me, Fazila Isaac, on Salam Media. Now, we are joined by phenomenal entrepreneur, founder and executive director of Disability Info South Africa, Mr. Alan Downey. Now, Alan, we were speaking about National Disability Awareness Month. What activities can people engage in to create awareness, and what type of awareness should be created?
Well, this year their theme is empowering persons with disabilities through resourceful, sustainable, and safe environments. So they've got a number of awareness weeks where they're going to be running. One will be the social cohesion and safe communities. They're focusing on resourcing the advancement of accessible communication, information, and technology methodologies of persons with disabilities, and then education and skills and health, and then social cohesion, safer communities, and then later on in the month, social. Again, they'll be focusing on women and children and persons with disabilities. So they're going to be running a number of workshops and other activities throughout the month. But and of course, a lot of media are focusing on this time of the Disability Awareness Month, and so we're all trying to create more awareness for the rights of persons with disabilities. But at the end of the day, again, I just want to point to access, because at the end, coming out of COVID now, we've been out of the lockdown and so on for quite a while now. But many persons with disabilities are still working from home because of lack of easy transport, lack of access to the environment, and so it becomes a situation where it's easier for them to work from home, but they still get isolated from the community because they're now working from home, and the main reason is because of lack of easy access to transport and to the environment, which just makes it easier for them to be able to work from home. But then on the other hand, it causes a lot of isolation, and people don't realize the whole belief that, well, there's not many people with disabilities around, so why must I be accessible? Scenario, which ends up making it worse. So we need to focus on access at the end of the day, I believe.
Absolutely, 100%. And how can people donate to DISA? How can they do that? How can they contact you guys?
You can contact us through our website. We run a free information service, so through advertising with various companies or organizations, or through donations. You can visit our website on info@disa.org.za, or you can, that's the email address. You can visit us on disabilityinfosa.co.za, or you can contact me on my mobile on 084 504 9176. And yeah, any contribution will help us to try to create more information, which is easier accessible, but also to create the awareness and work with various companies and organizations to try and break down barriers to make places more accessible to all persons with disabilities, not just those with minor impairments.
Great. Alan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure learning all of this information from you and you creating this awareness for our listeners as well. Thank you so much and all the best.
Thanks very much for having me.
That was Alan Downey, who is the founder of Disability Info South Africa. You are able to contact them on info@disa.org.za, or you can go onto their website, disabilityinfosa.co.za, or like Alan said, his contact number 084 504 9176. Do your bit, 3rd November to 3rd December for National Disability Awareness Month. And let's realistically do our bit and make it accessible for people with disabilities. The time is now 11:58. We're going to take our short break. When we come back, we'll be speaking to Shuhaida Adam on healthy masculinity. Stay tuned.